Hey everyone, it's Thursday, so I'm going to keep this short. Okay, this is what we're buying, sort of. It's the AI equivalent of actually having a ton of these guys in there who are cold calling. And not just the people, I want to be clear on that. See all these computers? That would be so that each independent operator can log their own data in their CRM. So when they create a new customer record, when they adjust a customer record, if they go to schedule a call and this guy's doing that and it's going to update the schedule on everyone else's computers so they know when things are taken up and when they're not. So it's the people, the hardware, the software, and the intraneting of the entire system so that it all operates cohesively. And some of these guys could be calling out. Some of these guys could be customer support. Some of these guys could be pre-qualifying leads, right? But all the systems work together so that this can happen, and a lot of them at once. Now, when you have a brand new AI bot and you start training it, you take it from not knowing what it's doing to knowing what it's doing. And as you go through those layers really fast, you're just building the scripts, right? It's just we're setting all the stuff up. And then we call it ourselves and we check it out and see how it's doing. We throw curveballs at it. We try different ideas on. Then what? We go ahead and start calls, like do 5, 10, 20 calls, check the call logs for what kind of data it's collecting, check written transcripts. We could listen to the audios if we wanted to. And we usually won't. We just will if we want to verify something. And aside from that, we'll watch for payments. We'll watch for people scheduling calls, right? So even when we're testing, we can have it schedule us. We can give it different time options. We can have it pull up a page where we can make a payment, just make sure it works, right? All that stuff. So nice and simple. Get it all built, right? Get the build into play. Now, a couple of points I want to make real fast, and this is interesting. First of all, do you see how many of these guys seem to be taking a break? Now, granted, it's probably lunchtime because they all seem to be taking a break at once. This guy's got food in front of him. I don't know if he's really busy or just thinking about things or what. This guy looks like he's actually eating, and same with this guy over here. These guys are chatting away. Look like it's a pretty loose chat. Some of these guys are just checking in with each other, training. What do we not have with our bots? We don't have breaks. They don't take breaks. They don't need lunch. They don't want to get up and hobnob. They don't want to change their mindset because they're spinning too hard in what they're doing. They don't make the mistake of entering the wrong record. They don't make the mistake of scheduling on top of somebody else. They all intercoordinate, right? And there's no churn. As you build one up and make it good, then as you clone it, I had the idea of Darth Vader with the stormtroopers when we saw the episode, what was it? Some episode of Star Wars that came out where they gave us the idea that the best trained fighter Darth Vader had, he cloned those guys to create the stormtroopers, right? He cloned that one guy over and over and over again to create all the stormtroopers, right? His whole army. So what do we get to do? Perfect a caller. The perfect, who knows, British posh caller. An accent doesn't matter, but we get our script perfect. Then what? We clone it. So we are hiring top of the line guys. Pretend this guy is here because he's extremely good and never takes a break. Never goes to the restroom, never eats lunch, doesn't need a vacation. And same with every other guy you see, right? So again, the people, the hardware, the software, and the intraneting, all of that is automated by what we're doing. And that's for outbound calling, incoming customer support, and pre-qualifying leads. This is incredible, okay? Absolutely incredible, because it's pennies on the dollar for the same insane amount of power once we have the system up and running. All right, here was an interesting point. I want to throw it up. This is where the technology is going, and the reason that you're learning it, the reason you're getting into it. Look, this is crazy. You could hypothetically outbound dial every business in the world in their language As a matter of fact, I don't know how many of you know, Twilio phone numbers, for example, and I'm sure this is true for all the major carriers like Vonage and the others, have phone numbers for all the major countries of the world, whether you're going into South Africa, Ireland, South Korea, the UK, anywhere. Twilio's got phone number accessibility locally. Okay, so as we get the different languages going, the different language models going, that's where this comes into play. We could call every one of the 334 million businesses in the world, okay, every day at the exact same time, right? During the optimal first hour in the morning. And then again, swap the voice. In other words, so that's another point I want to make, but I'll make it here too. Make one offer in the morning, make a different offer in the evening, coming from a different phone number with a different voice, like the American female voice instead of the posh British male voice, right? Man. So for any other company on the planet would require an insane sales team, like 8,350,000 perfected, cloned, top-of-the-line stormtrooper reps. And for perspective, if you take Oracle, Microsoft, and Salesforce combined, they have less than 100,000 sales reps altogether. Okay? These guys, Oracle, Microsoft, and Salesforce, their reps took 118 combined years to staff. $1.5 billion in hiring costs. Not even factoring in the cost to replace the guys who are not worth it. They don't do the job well enough to keep. And $3 billion in payroll costs. Okay? And it would take all of those 100,000 sales reps dialing 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for over 4 months. It's a total of 22,739 human years. And it got cut off, but just to get the same result that exists here. Okay? The reason we're getting in now, it's not commonplace. It's not well known. Most of the countries don't have access to call out, but we have access to call in. And so we can expand our presence. We can call into Australia, the UK, all the natural English-speaking places anyway, Canada, New Zealand, before we even look into other languages. And so when you're calling this is 334 million businesses we're talking about. We have the right to call them whenever we want. Okay, there's that point. I want to make another point. I think that one's already big enough. And the reason that we're getting into this is because that already justifies everything we're doing. Next point I want to make. Somebody said, what if the system calls and they don't answer? The answer is, of course, the system has checks in it to allow it to try back. Okay, there's no time in the world that we're not able to track how many times we called someone in the last week, what times of day, which days, and not just that, but we can call them with different voices from different phone numbers with different offers. So say we call through a group of people once, get as many people on board as we can the first time around. Now we switch up the voices and the phone numbers and call again with a slightly different name of the offer, different umbrella name under the umbrella. And what does that mean? We're giving the clarity that, hey, this thing is bursting open right now because obviously there's more than one company offering a very similar deal. If not the same deal, you should take it, right? So we can do different things. We can make these offers and determine the triggers based on the call logs, who to call back and what to say. Based on when you called company B and the conversation went so far and stopped, did you ever reach the point where you were discussing pricing? Oh, no, you didn't? Okay. Well, whoever's calling next can discuss that pricing, right? What if you did discuss pricing and they said it was too high? That marks them differently. Okay, we'll call back with a lower ball, lucky for them offer to fill in a batch because somebody else is coming in halfway too. So if they can reach this far and the other guy's coming in, then we can round robin the leads between those two. How's that sound? Okay, so we can make offers as often as we want because they're businesses. We're allowed to call them. Now, we don't want to infuriate them or anything, but we do want to work on negotiating the perfect offer for each guy. AI is making that possible, that we can set up the offers that fit each guy just the same way somebody would be calling live, and then if they had to, they could offer a drop that they were authorized to offer, okay? But there's no churn, there are no bad callers, everyone is great. And we can round through those leads over and over all year with different offers, upsells, cross-sells, different angles, different points, whatever we want to offer. We can offer them more web pages on their websites, incoming leads that are pre-qualified or are not pre-qualified, that do focus on this and don't focus on that. Create a new section on their site about this, tie something together, help them with A, B, and C. There's so many ways to go, right? So we will never run out of steam within any county and any industry anyway. That brings me to one more point. People said, why does it have to be DUI? I want all the eggs in one basket in the beginning so that we can focus on that basket and just ensure that we know what's going on. We'll make 20 calls, check out the logs, see how the averages are going. Maybe we didn't get anything that day. Okay, but we realized, crap, we forgot to put in this rather obvious stuff. Okay, then we run it the next day, make another 20 calls, check them out. Now, really, it can be more than 20. I'm just saying that we don't need to go nuts on day 0, right? Let's do a stack, see how it goes. Do another stack, see how it goes, right? So then the point is the next day, I shouldn't say day 0, then I'm saying day 1. The next day, maybe we're close to the punch, but not quite. We make a few more tweaks based on what we heard. Then the next day, we finally land 1 conversion. And the day after that, because again, we're still figuring out what we can do to improve it based on the number of conversations, we might make 2 conversions off the 1 line. What I want is to be able to make like 4 conversions, long live and prosper, right? I want to make 4 conversions per day, per line, if possible, and I think it's possible, okay? Now, if we get 2 or 3, that's still a ton of money. We can still work with that easily. We can get you guys rolled through fast. All right. But I don't see why we can't aim higher as we go, and we will. And even if it comes down to doing a few more calls to get it to happen, the difference between the expense and the revenue that comes off of that is so massive that we can afford to do this a few times, few different voices from a few different numbers, few different under the umbrella names or whatever, few different angles, again, tailored to the point where we're just converting and converting and converting. We're getting a high conversion rate. Maybe the average sales price will drop because we're including some drops for people, but then those people convert. So we still get everything we got anyway, plus additional. So the total percentage of conversions go up, and when you multiply the percentage of conversions by the adjusted payment per, it's still way more money, right? So I love this. This is neat, okay? What was the other thing? It was this. People are asking, when we go to get paid out, like say the money doubles in a day or 2 and I can just pay you out because I'm going to want to get you through quick. Whole idea is get this done ASAP, get everything done ASAP, and I want to have you guys paid off for everything you're doing. So people say, hey, when you pay me back double, does that mean I have to run in and buy a bunch more positions? And then when you pay me out again, do I have to run back in and buy a whole bunch more positions? Do I have to go crazy like that? And the more I'm thinking about it, the more I think I'm just going to find a simple way of notifying you, like in your account, your payment doubled. What percentage do you want to roll back or just collect and let you hit a button, right? Some simple way of handling it so I don't have to send a bunch of emails to a bunch of people every day, every other day, and then maybe mistrack it. I want it clear. But the idea that you have to run around and select a whole bunch of counties is also kind of bizarre. Why? Right? And if you're rolling the money in, does that mean I'm cashing you out and then you're paying back in? There's transaction fees lost in there. And you're having to select more. So, or do I have them gifted to your account after you select them? So I might just come up with a simple way that runs on the side. And we'll figure it out. It won't take any time because it's easy database stuff. Some new thing inside your account. Sorry, I keep looking over here. I got 2 screens, and this is that claim the position page. I just want to remember For those who don't know, here's where you want to go to get involved if you can this week, okay? Anyway, in your accounts. And don't sign up here. Go through the act of claiming your position, your desired position. And when you hit this button, it'll ask you if you already have an account login. Do that here, okay? Now, that just keeps everything in place. Now, having said that, how does it work? Choose DUI lawyers. Start typing DUI up here, okay? That's the only thing, so you're not going to mess it up, DUI lawyer, right? Which really means DUI, DWI. And then just control via your budget how high or low you want to come in, okay? And so then you'll have your stuff inside your account, and I'll be able to make some simple button that goes, hey, you're up. What do you want to do percentage-wise back in? How much do you want to get paid out? And you got your preferred payment method in there. I'm sure I'll update that a little more. Just cause, I want to make sure that this is going to move smooth for all you guys and we can clear everybody out. I want everyone happy as hell by Christmas. Whoever bought a single position in Decrypt My Leads and we lasted through all this time, I want everyone flipping happy. Whoever had trouble getting paid before because of all the weird GPT and Google stuff and switcheroos that have had to happen, I want this to finally make great sense. And the way we're doing it is great. By the way, why does everyone got to do DUI? Instead of trying to create whole builds for everybody, by the way, builds are 12 grand each, okay? That's one reason you're all doing one thing. And I like DUI because it made sense, right? No matter how you look at it, it makes sense. When somebody gets a DUI arrest, they must find a lawyer. A lot of lawyers are starving. We know that. They're running around handing out their card, trying to get more leads than they get. Even if they're not starving, they still want more business or hungry for more leads. And leads suck because they're stupid expensive when you're trying to pay Google ads because of all the click fraud. Same with Facebook or anything else, right? Wouldn't it just be nice? And then you got to put your face on Facebook going, I can help you through your DUI arrest and your neighbors see you. And that's you saying, please pick me. A lot of DUI lawyers would rather just would get, discreet leads coming in, calling them all day long without them having to put themselves out there begging all the time, right? So having said that, get in where you can. The lower the population, the cheaper the position, down to around 3 grand. Higher the population, the more the position, so you can micromanage your exact budget to your recommendations. Your wife's recommendations, probably. Sorry. All you wives out there for saying that. Anyway, all I want to say is this. We are going to go haywire with this. This week's for collecting money. Next week's for hammering out all the builds. Anyone who comes in with at least 12K, okay, I don't know what the population is that triggers it. It'll be up here somewhere, okay? And if you have to choose a different industry to find a spot, if they move quick and you just can't quite get your budget to work, the next thing we're going to do, and just do it for DUI. Oh, well, no, don't even do that. You know what you should do in that case? Buy a couple of different DUI positions that are lower. Just get one, then come back around, figure out the balance, get the other one, whichever one you needed. And that way you got enough in to do the job. But if you get in at least 12K this week, you'll get a build done for you. Now, why would you bother? Well, you have the Web Pages Exporter tool, and you want to make offers through there. That could be a build that is specific to Web Pages Exporter. Then you have a build for if you have the DCCP or if you're going to, the whole big software that we have, and you want to put one or another offer out there for a particular industry you are fascinated by, right? There you go. And if you have anything else beyond that that's just really custom, like if you are putting that kind of money in, you've got my ear and you've got some days, so we don't have to rush it. Okay, so as long as you get the payment in this week, you can tell me anytime during the next week what you want the bill to be about, and we can discuss it. Should all the calls go to your one phone number that you picked? We could. And so maybe you want a build for a particular industry because you just happen to know that industry pays insanely well. It's not too crazy competitive. It's totally worth it. Or the prepaid. That's the other thing about this week. The leads that come off of this, and I should distinguish that. The payments and the rollovers are because you're trading the commissions off the sales for the upfront payments. You're flipping the leads the way one would flip real estate or one would flip websites. But now we're flipping leads. Okay. But when you get your own build, the assumption is you're getting it so that whatever websites get put up, right, then you're running it and you're collecting those commissions. They're yours, not ours. They're yours, right? So you're paying for a build to be part of our system and collect all that money that you're going to make from those sales yourself. Even if you're doing the pre-selling, as a matter of fact, here's the point. Why would you do 12K through us instead of just try to go directly? 12K directly means you get one phone line. You're going to be making a max of 20 calls a day, basically. But if you're coming through our system, all you're doing is paying for the calls going out whenever you want to use the phone line. So just make sure there's room for everybody. And what happens is you can do like 100 calls out at a time, right? Exactly. And so add 2 more zeros to the end of your monthly income, right? Because you're moving 100 times faster. You're making 100 times as many calls at a time, right? That's why you want to be part of our big system, so you don't have to pull 120K out of your pocket to make it work. You're just pulling out 12K, but still getting to be a part of this. Okay? It's closed for us. I love it. It's brilliant. All right, guys. Just letting you know, things are looking great. We are definitely going to be a go for next week. We are already certain of that. We've already collected enough money to roll hard. So be a part of it. Don't miss. That was one more question. People were saying, do I have to choose between getting my own build and the 6 times roll? The answer is no. You don't have to choose, because getting a build for yourself does not detract from the hardware or number of phone lines, right? The build is just also included with being able to pay at that level, okay? So yeah, you're good to go. If you can pull off 12K, and get a build of your own for now or later when you're deciding, whether you're getting the Web Pages Exporter Tool or the DCCP. If you got questions about all that, give me a call, right? Or Skype me, and we'll walk through it. Make sure to catch you up so you know what you want to do with your build, right? I've had that. I had a guy get a hold of me on DCCP. He goes, this is the pet project I want to do. What does it take for me to get the build? I told him 12K. He's like, I'm going to put in 14. And that way he's got a bunch of money there for calls, for kicking his thing off as well, so he can start to micromanage it. But he's got the DCCP, so he can do websites like that all day long, really, really cheap. And that's the reason you would get that. All right, so yeah, give me calls if you got questions. You can always pay now, and if you're getting a build, like I said, we can take time. We can go back and forth and discuss your options so that you can figure it out, even if it's by next Wednesday or Thursday. Okay, you don't need to worry about that. The point is get the money in this week so we can buy the thing. At the highest level we can buy it. All right? And then next week's for getting builds done. Okay, so we'll figure out the builds, line them up, do them back to back. Okay? And DUI is first. And as soon as it's done, man, we're going to start to roll that puppy. While we're doing the rest of the builds, we're going to get DUI running. It'll probably be... It depends on when they can schedule to do the build with me. That's the first hurdle. Can they do it on Monday? Probably not. Tuesday or Wednesday? Maybe. All right, great. Maybe Thursday. And then it'll take like 1 or 2 days to do the build. Okay, 1 or 2. All right, so we might be able to test our first calls on Friday. Otherwise, it'll start the following Monday, right? Could we do some test calls over the weekend for the fun of it? We could, but we have to evaluate the results of that differently than if we just did it right. So we probably have the fun of doing some over the weekend just for the sheer giddiness of it and the intrigue and to see what we learn, so that come Monday, maybe we did make some sensible adjustments already. Oh, this is fascinating. I am so excited to kick this off. It is this, but perfected and cheap by comparison. All right. Yeah, I cannot wait to see you all finalize this getting in, by the end of this week. I wish all of you the best luck pulling together whatever you can to get this going. And it's going to change our world. Okay.